Remind yourself that you are the only person who truly understands your value. Not your boss, not your friends, not even strangers online. Just you. Once you begin to believe in yourself, something interesting will start to happen. People will follow your example. The world reflects what you show to it. If you walk with confidence, others will treat you like someone worthy of respect. But if you are always second-guessing yourself, always anxious about how others perceive you, people will sense that too. Finally, always remember that confidence isn't about never failing, never getting rejected or avoiding mistakes. It's about knowing that even if those things happen, you will be fine. When you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way, you stop fearing everything. And when that happens, nothing and no one can truly affect you. Most people spend their lives trying to gain approval, whether they realize it or not. They dress a certain way, speak a certain way, and act in a certain manner, all because they're worried about what others might think. The issue with this is that it puts your happiness in the hands of others. The moment you rely on external validation, you hand control of your emotions over to other people. If they praise you, you feel good. If they criticize you, you feel bad. If they ignore you, you start questioning yourself. This is a dangerous way to live because it means your peace is always dependent on someone else's opinion. But here's the truth. What others think about you has nothing to do with you. It's entirely about them. People view you through the lens of their own experiences, insecurities, and biases. One person might think you're amazing, while another might think you're average. One person may admire you while someone else resents you. Which one is right? Neither. Because opinions aren't facts. They're just reflections of the person sharing them. When you realize this, you stop taking them too seriously. The need for approval is something we're taught from an early age. We learn to value gold stars, good grades, and compliments, but at some point you have to break free from that. You must realize that living for approval is a losing battle, because no matter what you do, you'll never be able to please everyone. You could be the kindest, most hardworking person in the world, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. So why waste your time trying? Why build your confidence on something so unpredictable? The moment you stop seeking validation, everything shifts. You begin making decisions based on what you truly want, not what you think will impress others. You stop obsessing over how you're perceived. You stop walking on eggshells, afraid of upsetting people. Ironically, this is when people will respect you the most, when they see that you don't need their approval, when you've developed a deep sense of security within yourself. Your confidence becomes an irresistible force that naturally draws others to you. The more grounded and certain you are about your own identity, the more magnetic your presence becomes to those around you. This inner confidence radiates outward, creating an energy that others are instinctively drawn to, not because you're seeking their validation, but because you exude a sense of certainty that is undeniable. But here's the nuance. Does this mean you should ignore feedback or dismiss what others have to say? Absolutely not. Personal growth is a continuous journey, and learning from others is an essential part of that process. However, There's a key difference between genuinely considering constructive feedback and relying on others' approval. Constructive feedback is a valuable tool to help you improve, while constantly seeking external validation can trap you in a cycle of self-doubt and uncertainty. One helps you move forward, evolving and refining yourself, while the other keeps you stuck in a space of seeking approval, often at the cost of your own peace of mind. The true power lies in your ability to discern and filter what you allow to influence you. If feedback has the potential to improve your skills, help you grow, or encourage a better version of yourself, then, however, if the feedback you receive is just noise, let it go. Don't let external judgments, especially those without merit, shape your self-worth or dictate your path. This is where real transformation occurs. Once you let go of the need for constant validation, you develop immunity to manipulation. People can no longer guilt trip you into acting their way or pressure you to meet their expectations. Their opinions, which once had the power to affect how you viewed yourself, no longer hold sway over you. You stop fearing rejection because your worth isn't tied to the fleeting judgments of others. You stop trying to prove yourself to anyone because you already know who you are. That knowledge becomes your strength. When you reach this level of clarity and self-assurance, you unlock a profound sense of freedom. The weight of living according to others' expectations is lifted, and you finally realize that your life is yours to live, not dictated by your parents, your friends, or society's ever-changing demands. It's yours. The real question is whether you're going to live it on your terms or continue shaping your life around the approval of others. People who, in the grand scheme of things, may not even care about your journey. Once you answer that question with clarity and conviction, you step into a space where nothing and no one can disturb your peace or derail your path. In that moment, you become truly free. Perspective is everything. How you view a situation determines how you feel about it. Two people can experience the same event, yet one walks away angry and frustrated while the other remains calm and unaffected. Why? Because one of them knows how to shift their perspective. The ability to control how you see things is one of the most powerful tools you can possess. It can turn stress into a challenge, frustration into an opportunity, an offense into nothing. Most people don't realize they have this power. They think emotions happen to them. They believe that if someone is rude, they have to get angry. If something goes wrong, they have to feel upset. But that's not true. It's not the event itself that causes your reaction. It's the way you interpret it. And that means you can change your response just by changing your perspective. Take criticism, for example. Someone says something negative about you, and your first instinct might be to get offended, defend yourself, or prove them wrong. But what if you paused and looked at it differently? What if, instead of taking it personally, you saw it as information? Either it's valuable feedback that can help you improve, or it's irrelevant noise that says more about them than it does about you. Either way, there's no need to get upset. The same goes for dealing with difficult people. Some people are negative, rude, or just plain annoying. But instead of letting them ruin your mood, what if you viewed them as a test of your patience? What if you saw them as an opportunity to practice staying calm and in control? Suddenly, they're no longer a source of frustration, but a tool for your growth. When you stop seeing difficult people as obstacles and start seeing them as lessons, they stop bothering you. Think about this. How often do we stress over things that won't matter a year from now? A rude comment, a minor inconvenience, or a moment of embarrassment. We let these small things consume our thoughts, drain our energy, and ruin our day. But if it won't matter in the long run, why let it steal your peace now? When you learn to take a broader perspective, you realize that most of what upsets you is temporary and insignificant. It's easy to think that others are responsible for how we feel. Someone cuts us off in traffic and we say they made us angry. A coworker says something rude and we claim they ruined our day. But the truth is, no one has that kind of power unless we give it to them. Once you truly understand this, you become untouchable. Have you ever noticed how two people can react completely differently to the same situation? Maybe one person shrugs off an insult while another stews over it for days. The difference isn't in the event itself. It's in how they choose to process it. And that's the key. How you respond to life is always your choice. When you get angry, it's not because of what someone said or did. It's because in that moment you decided to let. Some might say, but I can't help it. When someone disrespects me, I just explode. That's not true. You've simply developed a habit of reacting that way, and like any habit, it can be changed. Imagine if every time someone tried to push your buttons, you paused for just a moment. That brief pause gives you power. Instead of reacting automatically, you step back, take a breath, and ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Let's put it this way. Suppose someone hands you a gift and you refuse to take it. Whose gift is it now? It's still theirs, right? The same principle applies to negativity. If someone throws insults or anger your way, you don't have to accept them. You can just leave them with the person who tried to give them to you. That's their baggage, not yours. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It simply means you don't allow other people to control your peace. If someone tries to offend you and you don't take offense, who really loses? They do. Their goal was to get under your skin, and they failed. Think about the strongest, most respected people you know. Are they the ones who react to every little provocation? Or are they the ones who stay calm, composed, and unshaken? Strength isn't about yelling the loudest. It's about being unmovable, about controlling your emotions rather than letting them control you. When you stop letting things bother you, people lose their power over you. The coworker who loves to provoke you, the moment they see you don't care, they'll stop trying. The person who loves to criticize you, when they realize their words don't affect you, they'll either change their approach or disappear altogether. Why? Because they only have as much power as you let them have. It's the same reason you don't get upset when a child throws a tantrum. You recognize that they don't know any better, so you don't take it personally. What if you applied that same mindset to adults? What if you saw their negativity not as a reflection of you, but as a reflection of them? You'd stop wasting energy on battles that aren't yours. At the end of the day, life gets much easier when you realize that you, not your boss, not your family, not strangers on the internet, are in charge of your emotions. When you master that, you'll never be easily shaken again. Confidence is like armor. When you have it, the words and actions of others can't pierce you. But when you lack it, every little thing feels like an attack. That's why some people are constantly offended, always on edge. always feeling disrespected. It's not because the world is against them. It's because deep down, they're unsure of themselves. When you know who you are, when you trust yourself completely, nothing anyone says can shake you. Think about the last time someone's words really got under your skin. Why did it bother you? Was it because what they said was true? Or was it because part of you feared it might be true? That's what many people don't realize. Insults only hurt when they touch a wound that already exists. If you called a lion weak, it wouldn't flinch. Why? Because it knows it doesn't need anyone's approval. But if you call an insecure person weak, they might get defensive, even angry. Not because they're weak, but because they haven't fully convinced themselves that they're strong. Building confidence is the key to not letting people get to you. When you believe in yourself, you stop seeking outside validation. You don't need people to like you, and you don't need their opinions to define your worth. Once you stop needing that validation, you become untouchable. The truth is, most people try to bring others down simply to make themselves feel bigger. But when you remain unaffected and grounded in who you are, their power over you disappears. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing you don't have to prove anything to anyone. A confident person doesn't feel the need to fight every battle or argue to be right. They don't feel the need to defend themselves over every little thing. They know who they are, and that's enough. When you reach this level of self-assurance, you stop overthinking what others think of you. You stop taking things personally. You stop letting small comments become big problems. But here's the catch. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build every time you stand by your decisions and refuse to let someone else's negativity define you. You strengthen it each time. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger it gets, the less anything or anyone can shake you. So how do you start? First, stop seeking approval. The moment you realize you don't need validation, you take back control. If someone criticizes you, let them. If someone doubts you, let them. Their opinion doesn't change your reality. The irony is that the more you stop caring about what others think, the more they respect you. It's not always easy to shift your perspective in the moment, but it's a skill worth mastering. The next time something bothers you, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time you'll realize it's not. When you do that often enough, when you train yourself to step back and see the bigger picture, you become unshakable. Because in the end, it's not about controlling what happens around you. It's about controlling how you see it. And when you master that, nothing and no one can bother you. Won't do it all, save. There's a simple truth many people overlook. If you don't take something seriously, it can't bother you. The things that upset you most are often the things you choose to give the most weight. When someone insults you, if you take their words personally, it stings and lingers. But if you can brush it off, laugh at it, and refuse to let it matter, it loses all of its power. Humor and indifference, though simple, are among the most powerful shields you can carry through life. They make you untouchable in a world full of potential threats to your peace. People who go through life easily offended, always on edge, and constantly looking for something to upset them. Those are the ones who truly suffer. Not because the world is treating them worse than others, but because they allow every negative comment, glance, or action to affect them. They hold on to every bit of criticism, every insult, every small slight. They wear negativity as armor instead of shedding it off. Here's the unshakable truth. There will always be negativity in the world. It's inevitable. There will always be people who criticize, annoy, or try to provoke you, sometimes even without reason. That's just part of the human experience. The question is, are you going to let it control you, or will you rise above it? The key to transcending all that negativity is in how you respond to it. When you learn to laugh at what's meant to hurt you, you take away its power. You take away its sting, its ability to wound you. It's about choosing not to give energy to things that are meaningless or malicious. When you stop fueling the nonsense, it simply fades away and stops affecting you. If someone tries to bring you down, don't waste your time or energy fighting them. Just smile and move on. This doesn't mean you allow people to walk over you or treat you with disrespect, but it does mean you don't have to engage with every insult or provocation. You are above that. The more you practice this, the stronger your inner peace becomes. You get to decide what gets under your skin and what doesn't. Choose wisely, because your peace is priceless. Navigating life's challenges doesn't mean ignoring real problems or dismissing what truly matters. It simply means choosing to stop wasting your precious energy on things that don't deserve it, things that don't add value or growth to your life. The reality is that most people who try to upset you aren't doing so because of you. Their actions reflect their own struggles. When you react to their provocations, you're giving them exactly what they want. A response, a reaction, a moment of control over your peace. However, when you remain calm and refuse to engage in their game, you take away their power. Nothing frustrates a person more than realizing they can't get a rise out of you. It's a powerful feeling to know you've mastered your emotions to the point where someone else's behavior no longer controls your state of mind. Indifference is another concept to consider. If humor is your shield, indifference is your armor. It's a level of emotional resilience that goes beyond staying calm. It's about reaching a point where the negativity of others simply doesn't even register with you. It's about not feeling the need to prove yourself or engage in draining arguments. When you ignore negativity, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a form of control. It shows you understand that your peace of mind is far more valuable than any temporary dispute. Not everything deserves a response. Not every situation is worth investing your energy in. Sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away, not because you're unable to respond, but because engaging would waste your time and energy. When you prioritize your well-being and save your energy for things that contribute to your growth and happiness, you experience true empowerment. Your energy is precious, and it should be spent on things that uplift. The next time someone tries to provoke you, don't let them have the satisfaction of seeing you react. Instead, smile, shrug it off, and walk away. Remember, the moment you stop letting trivial things affect you, the moment you learn to laugh at the nonsense and remain indifferent, that's the moment you become untouchable. You become someone who is in. Some people believe that true strength is about always winning, always proving a point, and ensuring everyone recognizes their correctness. They think strength means dominating every conversation, insisting on their rightness and never backing down. But real strength, the kind that comes from deep within, is far subtler and more powerful. It's the wisdom and courage to recognize when something isn't worth your peace. It's the ability to step away from situations that drain you, whether it's a meaningless argument, a pointless debate, or trying to convince someone whose mind is already made up. True strength lies not in fighting every battle, but in knowing when to remain silent, when to step back gracefully, and when to let go completely without regret. One of the biggest traps people fall into is the overwhelming need to be right. This leads them into endless, often futile arguments that serve no purpose other than draining their energy and peace of mind. They get caught in a cycle of frustration over insignificant matters, letting their emotional well-being be hijacked by pride and stubbornness. How many times have you seen two people arguing, each unwilling to back down over something trivial? In the end, does anyone really win? Even if you manage to get the last word, what have you really gained? You may have won the argument, but you've lost peace of mind, possibly damaged relationships, and wasted precious time. That's not victory. That's ego. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't show weakness. In fact, it's one of the strongest things you can do. It means you value your peace, mental clarity, and emotional stability more than fleeting satisfaction. Choosing not to engage with negativity shows you understand that not every disagreement needs a response, and not every opinion needs to be challenged. Some people thrive on arguments for their own sake, while others are so entrenched in their beliefs that no amount of logic or reason will change their minds. And then there are those who argue simply to provoke a reaction. The most powerful thing you can do is refuse to give them the reaction they seek. By choosing not to engage, you assert a quiet strength that comes from within. This strength values peace and wisdom over ego and conflict. When you choose not to engage with negativity, you rob it of its power. You become immune to its influence. And by refusing to respond to life's trivial distractions, you create space for peace and clarity. People can only argue with you if you let them. They can only disturb your peace if you open the door to them. The moment you recognize that your energy is too precious to waste on petty disputes, everything changes. Remaining silent when your ego wants you to retaliate takes maturity. It takes wisdom to walk away from a situation when your pride urges you to stay and defend yourself. But the reward for choosing calm is freedom. The freedom to live life with tranquility and to remain untouched by external chaos. It's not about avoiding problems, but about recognizing what truly deserves your energy and what doesn't. The next time someone tries to drag you into an argument, pause and ask yourself, what will I truly gain from this? More often than not, the answer will be nothing of value, no peace, no growth, no progress, just wasted time and energy. But when you walk away, when you refuse to engage in the chaos, you gain something far more valuable than any fleeting victory in an argument. Control over yourself. And when you control your emotions and responses, nothing and no one can disturb your peace again.